I think the one biggest stop for me is the difficult people that are in this business.
So you get shot at every once in a while. Take a bullet here or there. I mean, it beats working at a hot dog stand.
You know, it's a shame Mother never learned how to cook. Like a man needs a woman to cook for him. Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy, but I just like cooking and doing things.
Your affidavit wasn't based on credible facts. This court will not tolerate that.
You're right on it, baby. Sweet thing with a sweet brain.
You can just call me Jessica, Mr. Jordan.
Oh, so you got it like that, huh?
Well, I'm glad you think so.
Oh, I don't. I just like that make you feel good.
Well, hello, Lisa.
Very friendly.
This is Malcolm. He's the reason why you were issued mace with your uniform.
You might remember Angelle Brooks as Maxine from V.I.P, the sharp, steady partner who could hold her own in a room full of chaos. But behind that calm magnetism and a stack of credits that proved her range, there was one moment in her career that would test everything. Not her craft, but her identity. This is Angelle Brooks News and Angelle Brooks Scandal Update told in plain facts. The early momentum that showed she could move between courtroom authority and sitcom timing. The biased workshop that demanded she erase parts of herself to keep working, and the deliberate, selective return that followed. She chose boundaries over speed, self-respect over exposure. And the record shows exactly what happened next. So here's the question. If you were told to change who you are to keep your place in the room, would you stay or would you walk? Angelle Brooks was born in Miami on August 11, 1967, and stepped into the industry in the early 90s with intent, not luck. She trained, auditioned, and built early credits that proved she could hold a frame and deliver under pressure. In 1994, she appeared on NYPD Blue as Tanya, folding into a handheld procedural that demands crisp eye lines and fast emotional pivots. That same year, she appeared on The Larry Sanders Show as Felicia, a satire space where restraint and timing do the heavy lifting. Across the late 90s, she was booked and busy, moving to the sitcom tour that polishes speed. Martin, Family Matters, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, The Wayans Brothers, Malcolm and Eddie, and The Jamie Foxx Show. Add the Parkers to the list, because it rounded the kit with school hall comedy beats and a clear character function. The late 90s through 2001 formed a stack. Variety, reliability, and tempo. That's the baseline. Angelle Brooks News captures this phase as a tidy sequence of hires that demonstrate trust from teams across drama and comedy. It also sets up the later conflict by proving the skills were never in doubt. When the action hour calls, she can handle coverage, resets, and patience under lights. When the courtroom beat arrives, she can hold silence and authority without blinking. When the joke lands, she can breathe on a comma and leave room for her partner. Recognition came from two anchors. On the glossy action series V.I.P, she played Maxine, the sharp partner inside a security outfit that handled high-risk clients with style. Action sets teach patience, safety, and focus between resets, and she carried those habits into every later job. In the 2001 ensemble film The Brothers, she played Judge Carla Williams and held authority in close-up without blinking. That's not a trick. That's breath, posture, and discipline locked together. The point is simple. The craft was in place. The credits prove it. The calendar shows it. The frame shows it. This is a part of Angelle Brooks News that lives in reruns and clips that still feel tight today. After the early run, the curve flattened. V.I.P ended. Guest slots continued, but the long arc pipeline narrowed. She regrouped and designed a return like a real plan, not a wish. She refreshed materials, targeted theatrical and commercial auditions, and added a commercial workshop to widen lanes. The classroom was supposed to be about booking mechanics and on-camera clarity. Instead, it became a series of personal directives dressed up as notes. She was told she was too heavy to work. She was told her ethnicity was not definitive. She was told to wear a wig to cover features. She was told her age would limit her to selling food if she booked anything at all. She was told she had an unlikable personality. These statements are not scene notes. They are gates. They do not train breath, beat, or intention. They attempt to police a face, a body, and a birth year. Angelle Brooks' Scandal Update marks this classroom as a hinge because the conflict was direct and undeniable. A room demanded erasure, and the answer was no. The fallout was immediate and rational. She removed hostile rooms from the schedule. She kept auditions with teams who talked about scenes, not bodies. She redirected toward jobs with clear beats and low exposure, the people who use shame as a tool. The result is visible on the timeline. She kept working, but with precision instead of volume. You can read it in the credits. Carjack placed her in a contained thriller frame, where preparation matters more than flash. The Wrong Mother put her into domestic stakes material, where attention beats attitude. Stand-up hitman asked for clean timing without fuss. In 2020, she played a teacher in Taking Your Daughter, a short role delivered with the same center authority that made the judge land years earlier. These choices align with the policy. Take the rooms that respect the day, pass on the rooms that don't. The math is honest. The pace is sustainable. Angelle Brooks news logs this phase as a measured cadence built on boundaries. There is math underneath the narrative. If you avoid hostel rooms, you take fewer auditions. Fewer auditions lower raw booking probability. Precision is the countermeasure. You pick teams with a track record of respect. You choose roles that match your strongest axis: competence, judgment, steadiness. You reduce variables that spike harm. Stunts without prep, chaotic schedules, leaders who weaponize notes. You trade speed for sustainability and keep your instrument healthy. That is why the resume after the hinge looks deliberate rather than dense. It reflects a worker who protects breath, voice, and focus, because those are the tools that pay every bill. Angelle Brooks' scandal update returns here to underline the point. The only scandal acknowledged in this ledger is a behavior she refused to normalize. The feud at the center of this story is structural, not personal drama. Bias tried to define the price of entry. Boundary rewrote the contract. Legally, the record is quiet. Jobs booked, jobs completed, no case dictating outcomes. Operationally, the chain is plain. First, hostel rooms were culled. Second, respectful teams were prioritized. Third, placements favored roles that use her authority rather than flatten it. Fourth, privacy and service stayed equal to craft on the calendar. That is a functional system built from a single decision at the hinge: protect dignity first. Angelle Brooks news documents those decisions without noise. An Angelle Brooks scandal update keeps the hinge visible so no one confuses cause and effect. If you want a practical layer, look at the work itself. A handheld detective scene trains you not to chase the lens when the operator moves, so you keep the face open and the moment alive. A satire room trains you to underplay and let the cut deliver the joke, so you trust the frame and resist strain. A live audience multicam trains you to breathe on the comma and land a laugh without stepping on your partner, so your timing stays generous. An action hour trains patience and safety, so you learn to focus on a hurry up and wait. A courtroom beat trains poise. You control the jaw, the breath, and the eyes while the other side pushes. Those disciplines stayed intact long after the calendar slowed. They explain why later roles feel settled and exact. The hours are baked in, and the body remembers. Fans asking where she went can read the answer without guessing. She recalibrated the plan and kept the work that fit the policy. The service side grew quietly, because giving back is a choice, not a press tour. Privacy stayed intact, because personal life is not a product. The net effect is a career that breathes. You see it whenever she appears in a rerun from the 90s, or shows up in a recent credit with the same steady ease. Angelle Brooks news returns here to say the obvious. She didn't disappear. She selected. Angelle Brooks' scandal update adds a necessary clause. Selection began the day a classroom made identity the subject instead of craft. Now, let's make it practical. For a comeback, what's your first lever? A fresh reel, targeted outreach, or focused coaching with trusted director? If a room went personal once, would you ever return? And what safeguard would you demand? Which lane suits your strengths today? Judge, mentor, or strategist? And what proof would you use to decide? There's another reason the boundary matters. It protects timing. Disrespect poisons breath and jaw tension, and that tension ruins close-ups and comedy beats. Keeping hostile energy off the call sheet keeps the work clean. It also protects decision-making. A calm nervous system can weigh a note, ask a smart question, and adjust before the next take. A shaken nervous system hears only threat. The redesign protected those seconds between rolling and action, the seconds that decide whether a performer arrives on time or gets strangled at the gate. That's why the selective schedule is not retreat. It's a form of insurance that pays out on set. Details round out the picture. On V.I.P, she absorbed the patience of action coverage and the discipline of repeating exits until the cut sings. On The Brothers, she learned to hold silence and control micro-movements that read as respect and power. Talent was never the issue. Terms were always the issue. She accepted rooms that honored the scene and refused rooms that demanded erasure. She kept enough work to stay sharp and enough space to stay whole. Angelle Brooks' news in this closing moment is straightforward. She continues to work on her terms, continues to deliver when she steps on set, and continues to keep private life private. Angelle Brooks' scandal update, equally straightforward, identifies the only scandal worth naming: a set of directives that tried to erase features and punish years, and were denied the power to do so. If you face the same test in your field, what boundary will you write at the top of your page? What filter will you apply before you say yes? And what single skill will you sharpen to raise precision without raising exposure? Drop thoughts below.